Hello students, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another video by QuickStudy. Today we will start another topic of IGCSE English Language B, and our topic for today would be language and structure. If you have seen our previous videos of language and structure, this might be a good revision and a detailed version of the previous videos that you have seen. So let's get into the literary features that the writers use to make their writing more interesting and vivid. So number one would be simile, a comparison using like or as to create a vivid image. As big as a whale, or float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. These are all examples of simile. Metaphor is a comparison made without using like or as. For example, sea of troubles and drowning in debt. Number three would be personification, a type of imagery in which non-human objects, animals, or ideas are given human characteristics. For example, the jaws of the cave, the leaves danced in the breeze. None of these are realistic. They are given qualities of a person so that the writing seems more, intense. Pathetic fallacy is an interesting one. The environment, usually the weather, reflects the mood of the character or scene. For example, the fog crept evilly through the streets as he stalked the victim. So this sentence creates the environment very evil-like. Onomatopoeia is the sound of words to express or underline their meaning or sensory imagery. For example, crunch, pop, or screech. Alliteration, the repetition of the same sounds, usually at the beginning of words. For example, reuse, renew, recycle. So these are same words used over and over again. So assonance, on the other hand, the repetition of vowel sounds in a series of words. For example, harsh, bark, moonlit, pool. So it is basically similar sounding words used repeatedly. So we have already learned about these things. So this would be a good revision for this. But now what we will learn is something new. We will learn how the structure and the literary features are used in non-fiction writings. So to understand the text structure, there are two key elements, which are the structure and the features. Structure is how a text is organized for the impact on the reader. And the features are the elements that contribute to a well-structured text. Let's look into these structural features which contribute to a well-structured text. Number one are openings. Grab the reader's attention and introduce the topic. So opening is basically the introduction. For example, strong hooks. Number two is focus, the main idea that the text explores. It would be clear central theme. So the theme of the text should be clear. Number three is shifts, changes in perspective or ideas used for emphasis or introducing new information. So we are telling about something very boring and then we shift the idea completely differently and make it more interesting. Number four are paragraphs, groups of related sentences developing a single point. For example, organized chunks with clear main ideas. So we would put all the main ideas in one paragraph so that they're all together and they're well structured. Number five is cohesion. Connects ideas throughout the text for smooth flow. For example, connective words like because or however. So when we use these words, they basically connect the first paragraph to the second one or the first line to the second one. Contrast, on the other hand, creates emphasis by highlighting differences between things. For example, the old house was dark and gloomy, while the new house was bright and cheerful. So contrast is basically two different things put together in one sentence or one paragraph. So this creates how there are two parts to the story. Number seven is repetition or patterns. Repeated use of words or phrases or ideas for effect. For example, the wind howled, the wind roared, the wind screamed. We have used the word wind several times here. This is called the repetition. Number 8 would be temporal references. These are mentions of time within the text. For example, years later, I finally returned to the childhood home. So the mention of the time is basically the temporal reference. Number 9 is the order of events. The order in which events are presented can be chronological or non-chronological. For example, a story might begin with the climax and then rewind to explain how the characters got there. Number 10 are endings. The conclusion of a text can be clear-cut or leave questions unanswered. For example, a happy ending provides closure, while an open ending invites reader or interpretation. We see a lot of movies or read books which have a cliffhanger, which is known that the story hasn't ended, but the book has. So these create a separate type of impact on the reader, and the ones which have a good ending or a happy ending leaves a different type of impact on the reader. Number 11 is withholding information, providing clues and hints without revealing everything at once. This could be a good example for a mystery book where we give hints about the killer previously, but we do not reveal who the killer is. Number 12 is dialogue, conversation between characters. Dialogue develops characters, reveals personality, and advances plot, provides exposition. So dialogue between the characters explain how the main character is. For example, if two people are speaking about the main character, one is saying that how he is bad and he does nothing good. Another one might be supporting him, saying that yes, he has done something really bad before. Number 13 would be headings and subheadings or questions. Divides content, introduces topics, prompts reader engagement. For example, headings improve readability, guide the reader, create anticipation for upcoming sections. So if there is a heading given, we would already know what this topic would be about. Bullet points might also be used in an essay or a story. This summarizes the ideas in a concise way. So bullet points basically improve readability, quickly present key points, and simplify complex information. Another most important one would be the sentence structures. Variety of sentence types, for example, simple, compound, and complex. Example, varied sentence structures create rhythm. Short sentences add emphasis, and complex sentences add depth. So different type of sentence structure could impact the reader differently. Paragraph lengths, on the other hand, could do the same in a different way. Similar to sentences, paragraph lengths can vary for effect. Shorter paragraphs can emphasize key points, introduce new ideas, or create a sense of urgency. Longer paragraphs can provide detailed explanations, complex arguments, or establish a clear narrative flow. While writing or reading non-fiction text, we have to remember that non-fiction writing employs various structures to organize information effectively. Here are some common structures explained in points. Number 1, chronological. Presents information in order it happened, following a timeline. It is useful for historical accounts, biographies, or processes with clear steps. So the chronological order in which things actually happen presents the writing in a more simple way. Number 2 are prioritized way. It introduces the most important information first, followed by supporting details, often used in news articles, summaries, or announcements. So the important information comes first so that the reader is engaged. Subheading blocks divides information into sections using subheadings for clarity, common in feature articles where subheadings introduce specific points. Number 4 would be question and answer. Presents information in a question and answer format, ideal for quick reference, often found in FAQs sections or instructional manuals. Number 5 are problem and solution. In this, it identifies a problem and presents a solution or various solutions. It is used in self-help guides or advice columns or troubleshooting steps. Number 6 is letter structure. Follows a formal letter format with a salutation, for example, Dear Editor, and an appropriate closing, Sincerely yours. It can be used for formal complaints, applications, or letters to the editor. Number 7, in medias res, in midst of things. Starts with a dramatic event. in Latin in middle of things and then provides background information or different perspectives, creates suspense and engages the reader before filling in the details. So all of these 7 structure things are presented in non-structured texts. We should identify and also remember these while we are writing non-fiction texts. That's all for today, students. Now we know properly how literary devices are used and how the structures of different type of texts are important to understand while reading and also writing, and how it impacts the reader. Watch all 3 videos of language and structure to understand this properly. Stay with us to learn more about IGCSE English Language B and other subjects as we post regularly on our channel. To learn more about our online tutoring service, do visit www.quickstudy.uk.